Taking a look today at New York Stock Exchange and the transits occurring from now, June the 16th through June the 28th. In my previous video on the cycles, the new moon cycle that started on June the 14th, I didn't go into detail regarding these transits because I was more focused on understanding how the cycle was going to overall play out, and I was looking at different techniques and re-looking at from logarithmic order. So now I'm going to look at the transits. During the new moon, which is on the 14th, the North Node was trining to the moon, signaling more of a positive momentum. This month we have Mercury that goes retrograde on the day of the full moon. So that second half of this cycle could be more challenged than the first half. So let's take a look at the transits. This is a New York Stock Exchange. Now, as I mentioned with Bitcoin, the new moon occurred on a Sunday. Well, the new moon occurred on a Sunday, so there was not any transits going on. On the 15th, that was positive, and I feel that is due to Mercury having this greatest elongation, the widest angle from the sun in the sky. There was a change in the trend. It was positive. Now we're here on the 16th, and it's a challenge. So let's look forward to see why this is occurring. The 16th, we have Jupiter sextile New York Stock Exchange's sun, but we also have Saturn squaring the ascendant. Jupiter talking to the sun is usually a very positive thing, very positive. We have Saturn talking exactly to an angle of the chart. That's also strongly influential. So Saturn is here in the 10th house talking to the angle of the stock exchange's chart. Now, if we recall, Saturn and Neptune and Jupiter were both key planets this cycle. But because Saturn is in the 10th house and Neptune, they have stronger influence than Jupiter. So this could be why we're seeing this challenge momentum now, because Saturn is exactly squaring to this ascendant. Ascendant, I see descendant, and MC, these angles in the chart. In these charts I'm looking at in personal life, they do signal a change in direction of life, major events happening. So this, I would say, is why we're having challenged negative market at the moment. So we're still in June the 16th. Now Venus is in a trine to Neptune in the general charts. Now I would say that could be looked at as a positive because Neptune rules New York Stock Exchange's midheaven, and midheavens in Pisces. But it seems that Saturn is having a stronger influence because it's talking to an angle of the chart. And that's why it seems to be really strongly affecting the market negatively. Could this last through into the 17th? On the 17th, we have Venus opposite Pluto in the general transits, and Venus squaring to Venus, and Sun sextile to natal Saturn. Tomorrow morning, as the markets open, the moon will be at 0 degrees of Leo. This could open the markets up more positive because the sun is sextile to natal Saturn at 9 o'clock, 9:07. So that could be influencing the open of the market at 9:30 a.m. Towards the end of the day, Sun and Venus, Moon and Venus will be next to each other. And Sun is in a trine to natal Neptune. So tomorrow could be more positive. At the end of the day, well, after the markets close, Venus will be squaring to natal Venus. That could affect the opening of, that could cause challenges at the open of the day on the 18th. But then as the day goes on, I would say just the very opening from maybe 9:30 to 10:30, maybe challenged as it opens. But then for the rest of the day, very positive because Mars will be in a sextile to the midheaven, increasing the prices, lifting the resistance, or removing the resistance so the prices could continue to rise higher. Now, the sun will also be trining to natal Neptune, and that's extremely positive. So the 18th I see is positive. On the 19th, though, we have Jupiter squaring to natal Neptune. Now, this could interrupt everything of what I just said before and cause the 18th and the 17th to be challenged because Jupiter, the transits happened earlier. They affect the market earlier, and it's squaring to natal Neptune, the ruler of the midheaven. This looks to, the 19th definitely looks to be a very challenging day, along with Chiron entering to Taurus, Uranus squaring this north node. So 19th is challenging. The 18th is in question. I feel like this could be positive, but if it's not, it's because of Jupiter squaring to Neptune on the 18th. I see this as positive with the transits occurring, but if it's not, it's because of Jupiter squaring to natal Neptune and Mars squaring to natal Saturn on the 19th. This is a very challenging day, along with Chiron entering to Taurus. 20th, I also see this as a challenge because of Uranus squaring this north node. In these charts here, in New York Stock Exchange charts, we have Mars next to natal Mercury and Mercury squaring to Jupiter. These do not happen in the trading hours, but I feel like Uranus squaring the north node is going to throw this monkey wrench into the world and cause some challenges, strong challenges on the 20th. The 19th, 20th, I do see this as a challenge. The 21st could be influenced by Uranus squaring the north node. It could have leftover fallout from Uranus and north node. 21st is in question. It could be positive with Mercury sextile Mercury, but it is likely that it'll continue to be negative from Uranus squaring the north node. Sun does enter into Cancer, so there could be this change of momentum, change of trend of the direction of the market at some point during the day on the 21st. I'm not sure if it's going to be, it could be in the morning because this Sun enters Cancer early in the morning before the markets open. But the 21st it's a day in question. The 24th, Mars is next to Bitcoin's, to New York Stock Exchange's Sun. That is positive. I see that as very positive. Also, the Sun is trying the north node. So I feel that the 24th is definitely positive. 25th, Sun squaring to Neptune. This could be a challenge for the New York Stock Exchange because Neptune is the ruler of the midheaven. 26th, Venus next to Uranus, and Sun is sextile to Neptune, natal Venus. We could continue this positive trend from the 24th through the 28th because that is the day before this new moon. And Mars will be sextile to Jupiter on the 28th. So the 26th to the 28th, I see that as better, as more of positive forwards direction. To recap, 18th looks to be positive, but it could be negative due to Jupiter squaring this Neptune, natal Neptune, and Mars squaring. So if the 18th is not positive, it will be negative. The 19th as well, Chiron enters into Taurus. That could be causing some challenges on the 18th. The 20th, Uranus is squaring the north node. That could also be challenges on the 19th. 19th and 20th, I see it as very challenged market all across all financial markets. The 21st could also be being influenced from Uranus squaring this north node. But at some point on the 21st, we could have a change of direction, of trend in the market from the Sun entering into Cancer. The 22nd, there was no transits occurring. Neither is on the 23rd. The 24th, positive, Mars next to the Sun. 25th could be challenged due to Sun squaring to Neptune. 26th through the 28th, I do see that as positive, especially with Mars sextiling to Jupiter. So I hope this was helpful. I will continue to monitor this to see how it unfolds. And I'll leave a link in the description for my live stream where I went over the planets, Venus, Mercury, Mars being furthest and closest to the Sun and looking at the pattern of the change in trend for Bitcoin and New York Stock Exchange. If you'd like an astrology reading, my link is in the description below. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share.